here in Glasgow. I'm using the mics today because it's a live stream on my phone. Not using my tablet today, it's in the house. As the stream suggests, we're doing a little bit of bus spotting, so we're going to do that for a little while. Don't know how long for. It's 5:35 just now. Tell you what, we'll stream till 6:30. Okay, how does that sound? Hope you're all well today. I just had a lovely meal with a few mates down at Cosmo. They're all away home now, so I'll be going home in a little while. And over there, Volvo Eclipse YJ08 XYG on the 240. As we see, SG24 UHK going past on the 091. I think that's going to the airport at the moment. Simplex bus journeys go to Glasgow Airport. Some only go as far as here. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to link every city in Scotland so that it's got some sort of link to Edinburgh and Glasgow airports. Would I do a 240 on one of those? Yes, please. Don't worry, we will go into the bus station, just I'm going to hang around at the entrance for a little bit. Might even stay a little later here, how do you fancy? We'll stream till 7:30. I'll get the 7:45 coach back to Larbert, and I'm getting the H2 home from there. What do you think? Shall we do it? Yeah, let's do it. When I was in Costa, I was feeling a little bit, not down, but tired, I think. I didn't sleep too well last night, and I was contemplating going home. I thought, no, get out there and make some material. There's SN65 OHA on a 263. Would I do that one on a 263? Maybe. But with Legend says hi, what are you doing? We're doing some bus spotting, as the title of the video suggests, mate. In Glasgow at the moment, it's going to be streaming till around 7:30 PM. Regular viewers to the channel will be aware that normally, if I'm doing a live stream of that length, Harden's usually with me. Unfortunately, he's not available today. He's doing something else with his family. But we'll see him on Monday, which will be nice. Might do a couple of short live streams on Monday. We'll see how we get on. But we're heading up to Dundee on Monday. After that, going down to Edinburgh. Now, is that the one I think it is? No, it's not. That's HSK 660 on the M9 with SV74 REU Electroliner just behind it. Fit Legend says, whom do you support, India or Pakistan? I don't do politics on this channel, I'm afraid, sorry. We don't do politics on here. Don't do sport either, I'm afraid. We only do buses, trains and planes. We've got YX19 OTS trying to get into the bus station on the X7 with Volvo BZL 73055 on the number 4 going to Kilmarnock. Normally that would be going all the way down to Ayr. We've got BX64WJF on the X23 to Erskine. All the reason I'm doing a live today is I can't be bothered recording several videos and having to upload them all later. I'll have enough of that tomorrow at Bridgeton. I'm looking forward to Bridgeton tomorrow, it's going to be good. Just having a nice little leisurely stroll. I think we'll make base camp around here. This is the normal spot for myself and Aaron. Tree Duck says, why is that guy staring at you? I haven't got a clue. Don't really care, to be honest. Maybe he's never seen anyone with a phone and a microphone. He'll be thinking he'll be live streaming on TikTok or Instagram or something like that, but it's actually YouTube. I don't do Instagram, I don't do TikTok. I have thought about Instagram actually, but never really took off. HSK 641 on the 902. That goes through Livingston, which I'm planning to visit before Aaron and I head south to Penzance. But Livingston's not that easy to get to. I'll explain that in just a moment. SN65ZDM Volvo Panorama X76. These are on the 900 there for quite some time. Before the new Interdects, the new 9700 DDs came. And that one is YX18 LKN. Ember on an E3 there. Which one's that? That's SG71OTF. I had that one up to Dundee a couple of weeks ago, if I remember rightly. Oh, I've just spotted something. Aaron and I were talking about this vehicle just the other day, off camera. And there it's sitting over there. And I think it's on a private hire. It's the one sitting next to the Gemini. SJ72HSE. Edinburgh Coach Lines Volvo 9700. Heard that one a few times on the M92 from Kinross to Aberdeen. In fact, I think I did an M92 video on that one, if I remember rightly. Plus twice says, hi Alba, not the mics again. Yep, I'm using them for live streams at the moment. Not all live streams, but some. I've decided that for live streams on my phone, I'm going to be using them most of the time. For the shorter videos, I won't be using them. And on my tablet, I won't be using them at all because they don't really make much difference. No, I don't know why this 900 is sitting there. SF74YNO. You can't even hear the buses, so there's not much to hear at the moment, if I'm being honest. Not much at all. We've got R26HHT Harry Higgins Tour sitting over there, the Citylink Yutong. I'll go around there in just a few moments. Yes, I did get a few of the Yutongs from Midland Bluebird. I've got a few on the channel already, and I'm thinking about going to Falkirk maybe sometime next week to get a couple of videos on board, one or two. I've got a free day on Thursday. I might be going up to see a friend of mine on Thursday night in the Stirling area, so I might nip over to Falkirk in the afternoon and get a few shots. I've got some from the outside, but none from the inside. I think Celtic are playing Hibernian today, because I've just spotted a few people with Celtic and Hibernian tops on. But we don't do football on this channel. Don't do any type of sport on here. Right, just a moment, folks. I'm going to put my bag down because it's getting a bit heavy on my arm. That's the X1 to Hamilton, just going over there. That's actually quite a nice route, to be honest. I enjoyed that. Caledonian Travel with a Volvo 9700. Can't see the edge from here. Oh, right, Eclipse Urban 2 on the X37. Not something you see all the time. It's not unheard of, but it does happen. Aaron's not with me today, I'm afraid, mate. He's doing something with his family, unfortunately. And he wasn't available to attend today. But I'm seeing him on Monday, so we might do a couple of lives on here. We'll see. That's 2234. I had 2237 on the H2 earlier on. M9 to Aberdeen, ML25 FHB, NL25 FHB. Electric LG72DYY, or as I call it, the Duracell bus. Now that's one I wanted to see. Scania Eraser i6. That's YS16 LKO on the air route. I don't mean air as in air, AYR, I mean Edinburgh Airport. He says you should have had a street light on the H2 ones, SN14DXY. Yes, that's right. Street lights are useless on the H2 route, mate, because when it's going on the motorway, they can only do about 45 mile an hour top of speed. They're useless. They're useless to everything. Best place for them is the scrapyard. I hate them. K60 SBL over there with the Mercedes Turismo. That's actually Shields buses, that one. The only reason I know that is because it says it on the top. Well, I know it by the number plate. So that will be doing the 914 to Fort William, which I think departs at 6 o'clock. Adam told me that there's one of their Razors is on the M9 L200 WCM. I wasn't going to tell you this. That's part of the reason why I want to hang around till 7:30 and keep doing this live stream till then. That's why he says that's why they're... That's very true. Sorry, I can't say that word on the channel, mate. Don't want to get in trouble with YouTube. So I can blow a raspberry instead. YJ74 EFK on the 926 to Campbelltown. We will be doing that route at some point this summer. Because the scenery up around there is absolutely stunning. And that's the Yutong E12 on the number 4 to Kilmarnock. 77 coming in there, 33406. That's quite a long one actually to Glasgow Airport, not one I would take if I was in a hurry. If I had all day then that's fine, but not if I was in a hurry. Incidentally, as I said on last night's live stream when I was in Dunfermline, I'm going to be doing quite a few more of these over the summer, especially later in the day when it's a bit cooler. I don't mind the heat, but it tends to drain me for some reason. It doesn't like me. I wonder why. Nice Gemini there, 37739. This is also why WYDM by Duracell bus. I call it the Duracell bus because it's electric. Or I could call it the Energizer Express. That'd be a good one. I like that, actually. HSK 650 on the M8. That would have done me nicely going back to Stirling. Yeah, I live in the Forth Valley area, Clackmannanshire. Not going to say exactly where, obviously. That's private. 36682 there on the 500 to the airport. Just getting photobombed by the 200 MMC. 67075. We might get time to do a little live stream on Monday with Aaron. We might not because we've got quite a lot to pack into one day. We're doing the fly coach from Dundee to Edinburgh, full route both ways. We're also going to try and finish off the number 5 beforehand and do the trams on top of that. So I think a live stream might be a bit difficult. Busboy stays over there's the 40 years of CityLink coach. I was on it the other day. I forgot to take a short video though. Totally forgot. I'm actually watching out for it. See if it's out and about today. Although no, my luck, it's probably on driver break up in Inverness or Aberdeen at the moment. Or sitting in a depot doing nothing. Over here we have Insight Vacations. Can't say I've ever heard of them. Traveller's Choice, I've heard of them. With the Mercedes Turismo BV25 MHM. You've got the Volvo 9700 sitting next to it that I was talking about earlier on. Adam was just saying to me there's a coach that he's not seen for a little while. T4SCC. Can't say I've noticed it for a little while either. I did hear from someone that we both know that they've possibly been sold. Busboy says, oh, you do the fly as well? Oh, you mean the one from Aberdeen to Edinburgh Airport? Yeah, okay then. Request accepted. We'll do that. We'll try and do that before we go to Penzance. I've also been requested to do 091 from Aberdeen to Glasgow Airport. I'll try and do that before we go to Penzance as well. At least one way or return. I can't see Aaron joining me for that one though. Because due to personal reasons to him, he's had a really bad, nasty experience with FlixBus. I'm not going to go into detail about it because it's private and confidential. I need to charge these little mics tonight. Actually, I forgot because I went to take one out the box to use it and it was dead. This one's working at the moment, but I don't know how long for. I remember one of my mates was watching a live stream. I've got a friend who lives in Stirling. And I think he wants to join me on a few lives at some point. And he was saying to me, he says, what type of microphones do you use when you're using them? That's a little microphone. It's meant to clip onto your t-shirt, but I don't bother, I just hold it. I've got two of them. And he said maybe we could use one when we're doing something. Like bus spotting. I says, yeah, maybe we could. Maybe. Interdeck there, YY65SXZ, waiting to depart. I think that could be going on to an M9, possibly, because Interdecks only tend to do M9 or M10 from here. Sometimes M8, we're unfortunate enough to have them. But most Interdecks in Stagecoach livery from here are on the X74 to Dumfries. I did the X74 for the channel before, when it was the Elites. My first effort didn't quite go down so well because it was pouring with rain and I gave up, but the second effort was a lot better, and it was quite a while ago as well if I remember rightly. There's not a great deal going on here at the moment, but I promised you I would stay live till 7:30 and that's what I'm going to do. Busboy says, Alba, did you tell him about me joining these lives? Because I hate mics. I don't think I did, to be honest. No, I don't think I did. I'll try and remember to do that. I don't know if there's something going on over there at the traffic lights. There's a police and ambulance over there. I don't really want to be poking around there, so we'll turn and look the other way. We've got 64108 coming in on the number 9. Followed by 67068. And 44655. Now that's what I was talking about. X74. got 34368 on the X3, the slow service to Cumbernauld. I've done that route. It took nearly an hour. That's a long one. There used to be a 36 actually from here to Cumbernauld, which I think was even longer. I believe the first bus withdrew it. I'm not meaning like a few months ago. I'm talking like 15, 20 years ago. I can vaguely remember it. Possibly as many as 25 years ago. Now, I'm just looking around, see what's coming in. Not much at the moment. X36, whereabouts? I don't see an X36, mate. That left a little while ago. Oh, you mean the Right Eclipse Urban? No, that was X37. Not something that you see very often, because the only Volvo Eclipses that we've got at Bannockburn Depot at the moment are the Exploding D ones. I understand there was one on loan from Larbert Depot for a couple of days, but it's gone back. That's 44654 on the 255. Air route to Glasgow Airport, and what's operating that? And don't see a bus. Dry 40 WCM. I'm on the 906 to Glasgow. It's BV66 GWK. Now YY65SXZ is now on the move. I've got a feeling that's going to be an M9. The same time, I think it's every 2 hours, unless I've changed it. Bustle Howard, as they call it, coming in on the M11. Yep, they give the buses names. STRI24HWM. I'll tell you something in just a moment. SN16OMG on the X25. 34394 on the 89. It's all go here at the moment. Gemini WLT408 on the 87. Stewards of Carluke over there on a private hire. I can't see the reg number from here though. I think it's STRI23HSF from what I can see. You just said, oh my god, on a pooping live stream. Did I? I don't think I said that. Unless maybe the phone reception's maybe a bit hit and miss around here, but I've got strong 5G around here, so. Yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah, Bustle Howard, as they called that M11. I'll tell you a little story about that. I saw one in Edinburgh one day heading south to London. I think it was on an M20, and they called it Only Fools and Horsepower. And I thought to myself, yeah, Del Boy, I'll be so proud. You plonker. You deep stick. That's the best impression of him I can do. 36681 there on the 500. SF74YOA trying to negotiate around the Stewart's coach there. Doing a good job as well. 50539. Ah, okay. Sorry. Apologies. I'm going to try and get through to Fife at some point. I think Hallbeath would be the best bit, and get the Jet 787 coaches. Going to do that full route with Aaron when we come back from Penzance, but I'm going to try and get a couple of them on the channel, for short ones. BF67WHP on the X7. SN16OMJ on the... That's not an X77, is it? It is. That's not something you see every day. SN16OMJ on the X77. That's normally elites are on that. Must have been a breakdown somewhere. Unless they're putting a double decker on because there's been football on in Glasgow. SF74RDZ have an auto rest over there on the 500. Just having a look, see how much battery I've got. I'm sitting at 84%, that's fine. We'll stream till around 7:30. I'm going to get the 7:45 coach back home. Because as I said, I'm going to Bridgeton tomorrow. KSK 949 on the 900. And also on the 900, KSK 950. Now, what I'm going to do tomorrow is I'll have the mics with me tomorrow and I'll be using them to read out the reg numbers to you, the vehicles that are in the garage. But I will not be using them outside of the garage at Bridgeton or when I'm on one of the vintage buses. That's a no-no. The Yutong E12 on X23. A very empty looking X23 at that. SG71OUF. Right, I'll give it another honk honk to you too, mate. We'll give it another 5 minutes and then I might go up that way, see what we can see. This is pleasant standing here tonight, enjoying my eyes. The good thing about standing here is you don't get people walking in front of you, like what you would do if you're at one of the stances. And chances are, if you're at one of the stances, a bus is going to pull in. So therefore you have to move, so that's why it makes more sense to be here. Now that is R26HHT, one of the electric Yutongs that I've been after for quite a while. R27 is another one that I'm after. And I think that might be heading back to the depot. Maybe, I don't know. I suppose it depends on their route schedule. Anyway, over there you've got SF74YND with HSK 660 beside it. Roslyn, never heard of them, with 710 UDE. Erie bus from Ireland with a Mercedes Turismo, and SF74HWS beside that. We'll go down there in a little while, as I said, and we'll take a little closer look. WLT 418 reversing out stance on an 87. $33202 coming in on the X85. Oh dear. Flixbus 090 S-Tri-23 HVB. I'm not a huge fan of Flixbus myself, if I'm being honest. Now, Aaron phoned me a little while ago to say that the L200 WCM was on the M9 heading to Glasgow from Dundee. He spotted it up there, and it should be here, I'd say maybe around just after 7, so that's why I'm kind of hanging around, because I want to see it. Archie says hi, how you doing, mate? Hope you're doing okay. That's the LV72DYY on the 89B. I'm not quite sure what the difference is between 89 and 89B. I think there's an 89A as well somewhere. Now that Razor is the West Coast Motors. That'll be 976 going to Oban, I think. Yes, it is. We probably won't get a chance to do any more trips to Oban before we go to Penzance. So I'll try. Oh, hang on. This is the one. This is the coach that Adam was talking about. It's L100 WCM, and nice 100 and 200 are both out on the same route. It might be worth just hanging around to see. But that's definitely L100 WCM. Although 37534 is trying to photobomb me. Oh well. Archie says, can you do the 100 sometime from City Centre to Transport Museum? Your request has been accepted, my friend. Of course I will. I could probably even do that sometime, maybe this week sometime. 67067 on the 263. Sorry, I'm just having to keep looking at my bag to make sure it's safe. I can't be too careful these days. That is BV71. Which one though? HYK. BV71 HYK departing there, and that's on the 090 to Edinburgh. $64139 on the 9A. And 33, can't talk right today. 33395 on the 77. I don't know what that means, the Mormons are, but I know what Mormons are, but we don't do religion or politics on this channel, so it must be a show or something. But I'm not going to promote anything like that, because but that's not what we do on this channel. It's not how I run the channel. Right, back to the buses, which is what we're here to do. Nothing coming in at the moment. Oh, hang on. I'm going to leave my bike just on its own for a moment. I'm sure it'll be safe enough. I can still see it, so it'll be fine. I've just spotted something over there. Waiting at the lights on the 398 is one of the 7 liveried Enviro 200 EVs. I spotted this earlier on when I was going down for lunch with a few friends of mine, and didn't quite see it in time, unfortunately. Now that the lights are changing, we should be able to see it a bit better. West Coast Motors there, Volvo Evora SJ23 HRR not in service. And there she is. LC71 MSZ. The number 7 liveried on the 398 to Central Station. I've done that route in full on the channel. It's only a short one. It only took me about 20 minutes to do. Hardly broke a sweat during that one. I don't even think my phone got below 96% battery when I did that. Caledonian Travel there. With which one? AGZ 1484, nice Mercedes Turismo. 900 departing for Edinburgh. I think these 9700 DDs are mostly getting used on the 900. If I'm being honest, I'm not a huge fan of them. I always bang my head on them, and that's KSK 949. Because I'm nearly 6'5", that's why I always find if you sit upstairs on these damn things, you end up getting a sore head, because I normally bang my head on them. HSK 660 on the M9 to Aberdeen. Oh dear God, no. Yeah, I said it again, oh no. 0466, that's on an X10 to Stirling. Come on, McGills, you can do better than that. You can do a lot better than that. You've got Eclipse Urbans, you've got Citaros, you've got Enviro 400 MMCs, and you choose that pile of dog puke to do a journey of that length. Come on. Yeah, that's my criticism for the day. 36684 behind it on the 500 to city centre. That would be a lot better for an X10, but charge-wise, I'm not so sure. You want to see the rear of the streetlight? Okay. I can't really see too much because the Gemini's kind of in the way, but once it moves out the way, I'll be able to let you see the rear of the streetlight. I'm certainly not showing anyone my rear end. That's not happening on YouTube. Not happening anywhere. Not that anyone would want to see that, of course. Busboy says I must join our team. Okay. Well, once it's like what I said, mate, I mean, I can't really do much at the moment because there's a Gemini blocking the way. It's not just 0466, it's been on the X10. Oh, I haven't looked at the X10 route selection, so I'm not sure what's on it today. SN16OLX on the X25A and a G3346 on the 901 to Glasgow. Instead of doing X95 to Carlisle next week, we might go a little trip down the Largs. I'll try and make a few alterations, unless we go to Largs on the Sunday. Maybe. We'll see. There she is. Price is $14.25 per hour, which I suppose for being a bus driver, that wage isn't too bad. I think drivers at CityLink and Lothian and that might be on slightly more, especially if they're driving into the big cities like Edinburgh, Glasgow, etc. Oh dear, here's another one on the 267. But that's the new livery by the looks of it. SN14DYY. Dear. Yeah. Sorry folks, I was just saying hi because one of the guys from SPT's just walked past me there. Possibly looking to see what I'm up to, but oh well, doing bus spotting live streaming on YouTube as well. But let's see, I'm not sure what the wages are actually for Lothian drivers or CityLink drivers. I do know a few of them personally, but 73054 on the number 4 to Glasgow from Ayr. That would be a nice little run down to Ayr on a Yutong E12. better than before. It's a long one though. And trust me, it is a long one. I've done it on this channel when the Scania Enviro 300s were doing it. I think it was about 2 hours long. I think the video is about 2 hours long each direction. Mind you, by the time I stop streaming at 7:30, this one's not going to be far short of that. That's 34370 on the next three. Not unusual to see them venturing out and stretching their legs. Spotting In Glasgow, operated by SG24UHD. I've got that one quite a few times on the channel. 38468, just making an appearance on the 88. SJ24HWS on the M8 to Perth. That would have been my transport home had I chosen that, but decided to get a later one instead. I might even wait and get 740 M9 Aberdeen. It might work out easier actually that way. Busboy says, what price was on 0465 when you saw her? It was £14.25 per hour. That was the wage, £14.25 per hour. Oh, boys in blue are here, and someone's been a naughty boy. And it's not me. Now, on X77, we have 54339. 33217 on the X87. And on the X36 is H98946. And on the 87 is 67024. Now on the number 9, 64113. Well, the X10's left, unfortunately, mate, so I can't really get a rear of it now. Unless it appears in Stirling by the time I get back to there, which it might do. Knowing how long the X10 takes, there's a possibility I could get that for you in Stirling. I'll try. Can't make any promises. 67020 on the 255 to Hamilton, LG71DMU on the 9 just in front of that one. Oh, you mean the X36? Sorry. Now, where is it? Let me see if I can go to one of the stances and I'll see if I can get it for you. In fact, if you can hang on for just a couple of minutes, I'll stand over here at this railing or on the island over there and I'll be able to get the rear end for you. Right, this will be a better spot for getting the rear. That once I've got that, I'll move back to where I was. Busboy says, so what was the... Hang on. What was the price on 0433 when she was on the F16 mind when you did the Falkirk Live? Can't remember, to be honest. I genuinely can't remember. I'd need to look back at that stream and have a look. Could have been the same. I've got a feeling it could have been the same. That's SK19EOG on the 77. 2 fire engines the way past. And what we've got coming round here. Y68 USV on the 255. Oh, it was 36 grand per year. You just got honked. Yeah, no, well, actually, that was the fire engine done that. It honked at the traffic light as it was going through. It wasn't a bus honking at me. No. I would have probably jumped at the skin if it was a bus honking at me. I've had that before, though. Had that before. That was the fire engine honking as it went through the red light. Well, both of them did, actually, now that I think on it. 36 grand per year, that could be possible. That could be what their annual wage is for, because bear in mind X10 is McGill's Midland Bluebird, and the whole of Larbert and Stirling areas are Midland Bluebird. That's what I'm thinking anyway. Sorry, I'm just swapping hands. LC71 MSL, WSL, I beg your pardon, on the 9 to Paisley. Paisley comes quite well to me because my dad used to live there. 923 to Stranraer, XUI 2903. I remember seeing 2901 sitting here broken down one day. 914, as I said, to Fort William, K6OSVL. I think I got the timings wrong though, actually, if I'm being honest. Busway says I got honked. I think I did actually just get honked here, but unless he's honking at the West Coast Motors, possibly. As that was a honk that was meant for me, thank you very much, it's deeply appreciated. I think he was honking at that West Coast Motors Eraser. That was the one that Arden was telling me about. N200 WCM. So if you're watching this, mate, you were right. That was in the M9. Now, I'll maybe see that parking up or going back to depot somewhere, because they do have a depot not far from here. KSK 949 on the 900. Busboy says, I got honked by Kenny Scott when he drove 4108. He will tell you when he drives your 38. I can't say I know him, if I'm being honest, mate. Can't say I know that guy, to be honest. I might know him to look at, but not by name. There's only a few drivers that I know personally at McGill's. A friend of mine called Ewan used to drive for them. He's now with Lothian. And I know one of the guys at Bannockburn Depot is called Peter. I don't know if he's still with them or not. And I know Gary at Hunter's Coaches, who does the P1. He wears the baseball hat back to front. He's absolutely sound. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Now, we've got Gemini SF08 SNK on the 88 to Hairsteins. With SV74RFF on the 500 to the Glasgow Airport. Well, to Glasgow Airport. X36 shouldn't be too long till it comes out. I remember when Aaron and I were in Aberdeen on Tuesday, he said to me, why don't you read out the reg number in a Glasgow accent? So I did. I ain't going to do it here though, because I'll get lynched. LG71DNF not in service. 99A liveried. Possibly says he's your friend. That's nice. It's nice when you get to know people that are doing things that you like to do as a hobby. I've made a few mates on the radio because I work on Cumbernauld FM as a radio presenter part-time. That's the crust of things for me. SO68HFP on the X3 to Cumbernauld Town Centre. I could get that one if I was going to work, but I think I would rather choose Stagecoach because it's a lot faster. X3 goes through everywhere, as I said earlier. X77 SCG on the X77 to Kilmarnock for Ayr. I thought it was after 7 o'clock that they started doing that from here. I could be wrong. I noticed the 5:40 PM service from Ayr, or is it 6:40? No, 6:40 from Ayr. It calls at Kilmarnock on its way to Glasgow. Now, I wanted to do an X11 one day and I hope to God I do not get that. Third time I said that, I know, but SN14EDK and it's absolutely packed. Normally it's a decker that's on X11 to New Mains, which is down near Motherwell. YX68 UTA on the 87 to Auchennairn. Not quite sure how to pronounce that. Yeah, there's been quite a few transfers of streetlights down to Glasgow from Aberdeen, and there's one there that proves my point. SN14FEM, that's one of the ex-Sunnyside streetlights from Aberdeen, you know, one of the ones that used to do the 23 route. Because I believe that these are getting replaced by something else, probably Yutongs, I would imagine. I think they want all the buses in city centres to be electric at some point. It's going to take time, but I think they want it to happen at some point. That's SJ23HTT on the 4 to Glasgow. I'm just waiting here until the X36 leaves. It shouldn't be too much longer. And then I'm going to move back over to where I was, because I feel you get a better view there. SF74YNK on the 900. CC24ALS Premier Class. ALS Premier Class. LG72EAJ on the 88. And SJ24HWS on the M8 to Perth. That would be my transport home if I went for it. I thought, nah, I'll let it skip. That's LG72EAJ on the 88, you can just see there. Discover Scotland tours with their Sprinter just leaving. You see Rabbies quite a lot around Edinburgh. I mean, they're quite a big company actually. I don't know how many Sprinters they've got, but they have got quite a few. That's RF19UZY, and just behind that on the X76 YX18LKL, I think he's just waved, much appreciated, on the X76 to Kilmarnock. X87 to Waterside, SK68 LXF there, 33217. If anyone notices me getting a wave or that and I don't respond to it, then please let me know, because I'm always looking around to see what other vehicles are coming in. SF09LDN over there. Number 9A to Penny LG71 DMU. Now what's the Taro's that? I'm not going to see, I don't think, because it's going to McElney's Point, which is an early terminus with a 901. That's definitely M300 WCM, not in service. I think that's going to park up. Stuart asks, any long distance routes planned to record? Yeah, we've got a couple coming up this week, mate. Got one on the 5 from Burnhill to Nine Mills Hospital. That doesn't seem like a long run, I know, but it's quite a distance from where I stay, so I suppose it could be classed as a long run. We've got a few more as well. We're doing, myself and Aaron are doing the fly coach to Edinburgh Airport on Monday return, and we're also going to do the trams. I don't often do trams on this channel, but why not? So that's HSK 601 on the 902 to Livingston. I'll tell you a bit about that in just a moment. Might be doing X95 next Thursday, or well, probably not Thursday, maybe Saturday. We'll see. I'll make an announcement about that a bit near the time. That's Edinburgh to Carlisle. That's a long one. LG72 EAJ not in service. What's behind that? SG24 UHD. I've seen that one a few times today already. Now, that X36 should be leaving around now. I've definitely not missed it. SN16 OLX X25E Aberdeen Hill. I've seen that one. Here it is. Here it's coming round, so I'll shut up for a moment, which is something I can do, believe it or not, and I'll let you see it. And it's SN66WGW. And that's £14.25, it says on the back of that one. So it's the same as the streetlight that we saw. Busboy says I'm a McGill's enthusiast. Alright, nice. You must be on the McGill's enthusiast group on Facebook then, because I'm in that as well. I'm in quite a few of them. What was I going to say? Yeah, I'm just an enthusiast in general. You know, I'm not linked to any one company. I just take pictures of buses from any route, from any country, you know. I'm also into trains as well. Not as much into trains as Aaron is. He's into them a lot more than I am. And he's gradually winning me over for the planes. Stuart says, I saw someone comment about the new Ember and CityLink routes to Fort William on one of your other videos. They do pretty much the exact same route apart from Dunblane. They do, in a way. I kind of agree with you on that one. Sorry if you're going to see any bushes of that now. Not the type of bush that you might want to see, but it's a family-friendly channel, this, so we'll keep it clean. Yeah, well, I will be doing the E4 route at some point. I need to finish off the E3X, actually. I need to do that. As I thought, I might try and do that before we go to Penzance with Aaron. Now we've got a little bit of shade over here, that's nice. Now, as I was saying, E4 route is slightly different. I haven't looked at the Glasgow to Fort William version yet. That's 67056 over there. Busboy says, Alba, one question. Fire away, pal. How can I help? If 8947 comes, I don't know if that's out today. In fact, talking this is the 6 no, that's 8947 you're talking about. That's HSK 647. I thought that's what you were talking about there. My apologies. I got that wrong. Right. We'll talk about Edinburgh in just a sec, because on the 090 to Glasgow, it's Flixbus Volvo 9700. But there's two of them actually at this time. That one is SJ23 HVP. Right, Stuart says to take the same route. I should have said Ember stops at less stops on the way, but follow the same roads. Yeah, that's right. They do follow the. What I tend to find is Ember, if you're going to Aberdeen from Kinross, it can take a while. I think I would choose CityLink in that terms. Apologies if you work for Ember, it's just that I find that if it's stopping at Forfar, Montrose, Brechin, Lawrencekirk and all that, if there's people booked to get on or off, CityLink's a bit faster, you get on from Kinross, one stop in Dundee, then straight to Aberdeen. Sometimes a stop in Forfar at McDonald's, but that's fine. But yeah, the Ember E4 service goes from Edinburgh, calls at the airport, then goes to Grangemouth, Dunblane, and then I'm thinking it cuts up the back road from Dunblane, missing out Callander. I was talking to someone from Callander in Stirling the other day, and he said it's absolutely silly that they go that way. It should go up the road from Dunblane, the back road that takes you into Callander. I know the road he's talking about, but I can't remember what number it is. It's a B road of some sort. From there it continues up to Creanlarich, Tyndrum, Lochgilphead. Not sure if it calls it Cullen. I don't think it does. Which would have given me one or two options for coming back from Cullen after doing the C60, which I'm hoping to do on Wednesday. The Ranger will be coming back to Callander anyway, so the 59's just as good as anything else. Right, Stuart says the E4 does go through Callander, it just doesn't stop. Oh, it does. All right, okay. Sorry, I didn't know that. Albion, you have a 14.25 per hour. Kenny on your 52. Oh well, that's not bad. That's not bad. The E4 does go through Callander, just doesn't stop. Then he says unlucky. At least the 59 will stop. Also, my Midland Bluebird is withdrawing the C30. They're withdrawing the C30 because the C30 has gone out to tender, and it's now been acquired by Hunter's Coaches. Now, I maybe shouldn't be telling you this, but after talking to Gary from Hunter's Coaches, he told me they have two brand new 25 reg unused Enviro 200 MMCs in their depot. Now, my thinking is they're going to replace the 17 plate ones that are on the P1. I think one of the 17 plate ones is going to go on to the P2, and the other one will be on the C30. In fact, it could actually be on the C48, and the little minibus that's on the C48 might go onto the C30. That's what I think they're going to do, because they said they're talking about getting rid of the little Enviro 200 that's on the P2, as it's getting old and it's getting to a point when it's breaking down quite a bit now, and I think it's just probably going to need replacing, which is a shame, because I've always liked Enviros. I always had a wee soft spot for them. 183 going to Glasgow, National Express, Satana Levante. I'm pretty sure, is that the Scania version? It's quite hard to tell with the new Satana Levante if it's the Scania or Volvo version. If anyone knows, feel free to let me know. Apologies there, and I was just making myself feel a bit better. Anyway, Stuart Watson says busboy 978 and 912 CityLink routes stop in Callander. Yes, the 978 does. 912, I don't think that does. If I'm being honest, that goes from Edinburgh up then 90 to Perth, and then straight up to Inverness before doubling back down to, what's that place called? I can't remember what it's called. The 919 goes there between Inverness and Portree, or so the 917. The bus that goes to Portree from Inverness goes through there. 912 is basically doing an M90 route and then a 917 or 919, whatever it is. And it's going to take a very long time to go from end to end on that. And guess what? I am planning to do it for the channel at some point, possibly July. Myself and possibly even Aaron. I was talking to him about that the other day, and he told me that he fancies doing that route. Now, you were saying about the CityLink Route 40 or 40 years coach. There, it's over there. I'll leave my bag there for a second to come on, we'll go over and get a closer look. There it's there. Stuart Wilson says, also Ember said that the E4 will start calling at more places such as Calendar from some point in June onwards. They haven't officially announced a date. It's just a sort of trial service. That's good. They completely messed up the timetable on the website. The 912 is an Edinburgh to Fort William service, not an Edinburgh to Skye service. If you check the CityLink tracker, it shows it correctly. And it says, Stuart, we're getting F1 from Preston's. They're going to use O111 on it, I think. F1. I don't know whether, I know there's an F2 route in Falkirk. I've seen an F14 as well, but I'm not too familiar with Falkirk routes, if I'm being honest, because I don't really do that many of them. I want to do more in the Falkirk area, and I have had a few requests for routes in the Falkirk area, and yes, I will get around to them eventually. The 912, only going to Fort William from Edinburgh. I'm sure there was one that was going all the way up to Inverness and then down to Portree. I'm sure I saw that. It's quite possible I could be wrong. You know, or it's maybe been a mistype somewhere. I'll check on that. It's quite possible. No mentioning my route in the halls. 15 seconds, no buses for you. You should, well, I should know better. Well, I can't exactly know buses that are 160 miles away from me. Well, mind you, I do know a few in Inverness. Someone said to me, what bus goes from Inverness to Elgin? I says, well, you can get the 10, the 12, or the 96, M96, which is the fastest. You used to be able to get the 35, but that only runs between Elgin and Aberdeen. I should know, because I've done it all the way from Inverness to Aberdeen when it operated. I didn't get a chance to do it on the way back because they withdrew it before I did it. But okay, constructive criticism. Now, talking about Ember, here they come on an E3. That's SG22 LTU. That was a Baldy's basic joke, says Busboy. Well, I'm not bald. I have had a few haircuts recently when a few people thought I was bald or on the verge of going bald. Now, what we got here? Spencer Graham Coaches Limited. Never heard of them. With SG20BUS. Bus, aye. That's a good number plate, that, actually. I like that. Nice little tour liner as well. Meal plan. National Express just leaving there. That reminds me, I need to get in touch with them, because when I do my X95, I'm looking at booking a seat on National Express or getting back to Glasgow. Only thing is, if I'm leaving from Edinburgh at 12:15 on the X95 next Saturday, which is the plan, I get into Carlisle at 5 to 4. I've then got 2.5 hours before getting the coach direct to Glasgow, which is fine, because I think after being on the bus for nearly 4 hours, so I want to stretch my legs and go for a walk. And it just says, I'm back. Welcome back, mate. Yeah, Stuart says it now says Edinburgh to Fort William. I'm thinking it might be going via Inverness to Fort William. I don't know why it would go all the way up to Inverness and then double back on itself. I don't know why. That'd be one hell of a long run. And it's not one I would choose to do if I was going from Edinburgh to Fort William, but I'll do it for the benefit of the channel. Busboy says, like as in you look the balls from ball. Oh, right, yeah, I see what you mean. Archer says, I was on a breakdown this morning in Aberdeen. It was first Aberdeen Route 13 to the beach. What vehicle was that you were on, Archie? Stuart says, the 912 does not go to Inverness, they mixed up routes. Ah, okay. It kind of makes sense that they're mixed up routes, because why would you go all the way from Edinburgh to Inverness just to come back down to Fort William? That's completely the wrong direction. By car, from Edinburgh, you would go the M9 to Stirling, and then cut up the 84 through Calendar to join the 82 at Loch Ernhead. That's SK19EOL on the 77. The only reason I know that is because I do actually drive myself. I just don't have a car at the moment. On the 4 to Kilmarnock, Volvo BZL SJ23. Didn't quite see which one it is. 66012 if you're into your fleet numbers. Busboy says, he says it was an, oh, you mean a Mark II Eclipse? The only Mark II Eclipses I can think of that are in Aberdeen are on the 14 to Kings Wells. Busboy says, Archie, you mean the 13 to the beach across from Cadonas? I know what that is. Yeah, Mark II. Yeah. The only ones I can think of that are in that area, unless they've had more of them, are on the 14 from the city centre to Kings Wells. Because Aaron and I were up there just the other day, just experiencing them, you know. Because when I did the 14 route full length, it was Enviro 200 MMC on loan from Larbert. I think it could have been YX19 OSA, if I remember rightly. It's kind of a quieter in here now. I wonder what time it is. Coming up 10 to 7. Yeah, we'll keep the live stream going till around 20 past 7. I think I'll turn it off at 20 past. And he said, yeah, that one, yeah, the Mark II, but I was the one to blame because of the bus driver blamed me. How are you to blame? What happened? What happened, mate? Surely if the bus breaks down, it's not a passenger's fault. At least if a driver's blaming the passenger, I think that's unfair. No pun intended there. Not much going on here at the moment. Spencer Graham unloading over there. Passengers, SG20 BUS, as I said, the Neoplan Tourliner. Oh, we have City Like Volvo Leopard coming in. LSK 845. Wasn't expecting to see that here. Now, I don't know if that's been on, that could have been on a football hire possibly, or maybe something, I don't know. 33206 on the X87. On the M10 to London, we have SG24 UHW. M10 to Inverness is operated by our kid, coach's name. Bit of a strange name for that. YX69 LCG. I'll tell you something about that in just a moment. And just behind that on the X25A to Glasgow, SN67XAL. Now, oh right, Archie says, I got on at Guild Street meant to get off at Battersea Stadium, but there was a gas leak and the bus driver blamed me. But I was the passenger on the bus and it was a woman to driving the 13. Stuart says, I was on the 912 by the way, it was like no passengers at all, so it probably won't last long. Well, I've got a saying when it comes to buses, if you don't use it, you lose it. That's what I say. And it's true. If you don't use a bus route that's not council funded, you're going to lose it. That's M200 WCM heading back to their depot here, which isn't far from here. I don't know exactly where, but I know it's not far from here. Now, what was I going to say? I've forgotten. Ah, yeah. I was in Aberdeen the other day with Aaron, and the YX69 LCJ was in, and I seen a mechanic walking out towards it, pulling a little machine with the jump beads on it. So, you know how they make a high-pitched noise when there's no air in the air system and they turn the ignition on? Basically, it was going when it was trying to start. It didn't have the power. The batteries didn't have the power to start the engine, so they had to jump start it. And the guy called out to the driver, "Don't turn it off." I have to say something. It broke down somewhere I don't know on the street. Ah, okay. Andrew Shortbread Express says, "Hi Alban chat. What we're all doing? Hope you're doing well." Stuart says, "It doesn't stop anywhere between Edinburgh bus station and Edinburgh Airport, but I've been on it twice and the drivers just skipped the airport, so don't think they're meant to do that." Possibly. Also, I was the only one on the X7 between Montrose and Aberdeen, but I got on at 06:28 and arrived 10 minutes early. I meant to get in at 07:57, but instead got in at 07:48. Well, that's not bad. It's always good when you arrive somewhere earlier than you expect to. I was 10 minutes late arriving here because I was meeting a few friends for lunch. Meant to arrive at 1:30. One of them jumped on the same coach that I was on, actually, at Cumbernauld. But it turns out the other guy was running late as well. So all three of us arrived about the same time. That's 44677. And just behind that, 36682. SN65ZDW on the 87, and just coming in on the air route is N400 WCM. Andrew says, "Great, not far from Glasgow, staying Cumbernauld, and the very first bus trip was Stagecoach Bendybus." Ah, I remember those. These were on the X25, if I remember rightly. I remember those. I didn't travel on them, but I do remember seeing them. Yeah, we've got Enviro 400 MMCs now. In fact, there's one just departing. I think that was on an X19, actually, that one. Although, why it's coming up here, I don't know, because X19 doesn't come up to the bus station. Closest you'll get to the bus station on X19 depends on what direction you're travelling. I work in Cumbernauld, to be honest with you guys. I work at Cumbernauld FM. The radio station. I'm just hearing an announcement going on there. I don't know. Oh, it's for the coach going to Inverness. I think it was the Interdeck. No, the Panorama. Sorry. I think I might have to go and get a drink. I'm starting to feel a bit thirsty. Now, what's this on the X37? I don't see a bus. SN66WGZ 8949. And SG24UHO this time on the 0910 010 to Glasgow. Just having a quick look at my charge there. Still got 61% battery in my phone. That's fine. I don't have my tablet with me. I do have my power bank, which is fully charged, but I'm keeping that for tomorrow. I'll be charging these mics up when I get home tonight. One of them's already dead. This one's starting to get low, I think. So I'll charge them both tonight. And I'll charge my phone and my tablet. That's I3328 on the X23 to Glasgow. Andrew says M10 to Inverness via Perth, that's the one. And Archie says it was the Volvo B11RT Flaxen Elite. Stagecoach PSU 371. Oh, the interdeck, aye. Oh, I hate these interdecks. They're horrible things. I hate them. I do like these Citaros though. Very comfortable, but I hear they're a bit thirsty on fuel. Not the best. Now there's something just sneaked in under the radar that I didn't see. Bay Travel VDL. I'll have a look and see which one that is in just a couple of minutes. As we see, 33393 on the 77. Stuart says, I think us in Calendar are also getting that Trossachs Plus again in summer. I'm out of here. See you sometimes. Bye all. See you later, Archie. Hope you're doing okay. Hope to see you soon, mate. I might be doing a few more things tomorrow, so might see you on that. Anyway, yeah, going back to Calendar. I think that was the EX1. Yeah, because there was two smaller versions of the streetlights on that. That's SN65ZDL there and ZDW reversing out. 36679 on the 500. Locklow and Travel owned by McGill's on 0647. That could be on FlixBus duty actually, that one. We do that from time to time. 50543 on the X27. And 54216 on the X74. Yep, TX1, Trossachs Explorer, that's what I was meaning, yeah. Those two of them, one called Gillian, one called Ryan, SN65OMB and SN65OMD. OMB, Gillian, is currently at Bannockburn Depot at the moment. She was doing the 57 route quite a lot, but she's spreading her wings now. She was on 52 the other day. I managed to catch her on that, and she was literally standing room only. She was packed. She's too small for the 52 route. Far too small. I'm not sure. I think Ryan's still at Larbert Depot, or he might be at Livingston at the moment. We also have a Wright Eclipse Urban from Explore Dundee, SP61CUV, called Liam. And a friend of mine, Liam from Kirkcaldy, wanted me to get a picture of that bus for him. So just at a sheer chance one day, I was waiting on the 52 in Stirling. I think it was Thursday. What comes along? The one called Liam. So made perfect sense. Andrew says, what happened at 54216 Megabus recently be doing X25? Yeah. I'll try and explain that as best I can as we see LSK 821 on the 900. I can't say I'm too familiar with why it's doing X25, but X19, X25 and X25A operate from Cumbernauld Depot that Stagecoach have, as does 54216. I think Stagecoach Cumbernauld Depot has been that short of vehicles that they've had to put that coach on the X25 to cover a breakdown. That's the only reason I can think of. And Stuart says, are they still in the Trossachs livery? Unfortunately, no. They're now in the newer McGill's livery. I don't know if they'll go back into the Trossachs Explorer livery, or even if the TX1 route will start again. I don't know. I've done a full route on that on the channel. I've done 2 videos on that. Aaron's mum was wanting to experience that route sometime. Whether she'll enjoy it or not, I don't know. Now, that's the newer McGill's West Scotland livery, Clyde Flyer, which is a bit nicer than what they had before. That's the 901 to McIlhenry's Point, because that's meant to go all the way to Largs, but at this time of the day, some journeys terminate at Greenock, others terminate at McIlhenry's Point. That's where you get the boat over to Dunoon. X85 there operated by 33221. And there's the one Aaron was talking about. L200 WCM on the M9 to Glasgow. Spania? Scania Erasa I6. I think I need to go to the dentist and get some new teeth. Andrew Shortbread Express says, speaking of Megabus, one off. That's true. That is very true. Enviro 300, Enviro 300 on the 9A there. I was looking the other way. That's actually the new first bus livery. I think that looks quite smart, that. And the older first Glasgow livery 33976. Well, folks, I think we'll stream till 7:15 tonight. I was going to do 7:30, but I want to go to the shop and get a drink before it closes here, because I'm going to get the 20-8 coach back to Stirling. I don't want to be too late home tonight because I'm out at Bridgeton tomorrow, and then, of course, we've got an early start on Monday. Got quite a few early starts this week for me. Oh, where's the violins, I hear you say. Stuart says Calendar has gained lots of new buses over the last few years, multiple buses to Edinburgh, but no Glasgow. No companies want to do that road to Glasgow for some reason. And last time X25 and X25A was short on double deckers, they hired 50207 and 50212 hired from Ayr and Kilmarnock. Possibly, yes, but they might just have been short at short notice. I don't know. I'm only just speculating on what I think it could be. That's 33976 over there. To be honest, guys, if you're just joining the live stream, welcome along. I wasn't planning on doing this one. Well, I was thinking about it, and then I changed my mind. I thought, nah, I won't bother. It's too hot, and I'll be too sweaty, and want to go home. 36680 on the 500 there. But then, as I was having a coffee in Costa, I thought, you know what, Galavanter, you've got plenty of charge on your phone. Get out there and get that live stream done. Do a bit of spotting. So here I am. SK19EOD over there. 33393. Stuart says, I suppose Lochernhead, Strathire, and that road are not really on the main route to Glasgow, so not really, no. I think they link Calendar with Aberfoyle, and I think you have to go over via Aberfoyle. X10A goes from Aberfoyle into Glasgow every 2 hours, I think. Aaron's trying to call me actually at the moment, so what I'll do is I'll call him back. I'll phone him back once I've done this live stream. So if you're watching the stream, buddy, I'll give you a call back, I promise. Well, you won't be watching this live stream if you're phoning me. Do. Unless you're watching on another device. Still got 57% battery, so that's okay. Sorry folks, there's not really much going on here at the moment. I mean, this Electroliner is sitting here. I think the driver's on his break at the moment. I could move actually, but I'm actually quite enjoying the breeze in the shade. 67066 on the 240. And over there is 44677.